everyone, Kiki Kannon here with Kannon Studios, and today I wanted to do another video about resin. I know it's been a while since I talked about resin, and I kind of wanted to revisit some things. So I just wanted to go over some of the resins I've used, and specifically the main resin that I stick to now. This isn't a paid sponsorship or anything, this is just my personal experiences, and obviously there's a lot of other resins. I haven't used every single resin, and there's not really like a best resin. It kind of just depends on what you want to do. So some resins I'm going to be going over. We have the Anycube, which is like Anycube's resin that they sell for their resin printers. I also had the water washable resin that I got from Iligu. I did do a review video on that if you want to check it out. There's the ABA Select resin, also Iligu's kind of version of resin. And then I have the Cyatech resins, and specifically I have the Tenacious, the Fast, and the Blue resin. So as far as the Cyatech resins, this is primarily the brand that I stick with now. And kind of their base resin is the Fast resin, which I would say is pretty comparable to Iligu's ABS-like as well as the Anycube resin. Those are just the standard baseline resins. And one of the reasons why I transferred and kind of switched over is kind of the brittle issue with the resins being too brittle. And one of the biggest mistakes I made when I first started is over curing my resin. You can look at the specs of any of these, and it will go over and kind of tell you settings, if there's specific settings. So somebody in my water resin review asked about the settings for water washable. Well, on the website it has like the specific settings. Now the settings for like adding on the supports, you can change. It's going to be different. There's not really like a right or wrong way with that. I mean, many support settings will work, and I do have a Cheeto box setting video if you want to check that out. And there's obviously other programs you can use. So basically what I do now is I do a 50-50 mix. I save the containers and I do put them in the containers, and I do a 50 of the Cyatech Fast mixed with a 50 of Cyatech Blue. So Cyatech Fast is kind of like their baseline. It comes in various colors. So as far as all the resins here that I've researched into, they all pretty much have a very similar hardness as far as the short hardness scale goes, which they all fall under the extra hard end. So the tensile strength is pretty important to look at, which is basically like how much weight or how much pressure an object can take. And some other people have done some tests, and you can see on Cyatech's page, the Cyatech Blue can take up to like 44 pounds of pressure or weight. So it's not as brittle as, from my experience, the washable, the Anycube, and the Iligu. I might have to do more testing on it, but a lot of people have already done a lot of testing on it, and this is just from my experiences even before that. And they also have the Tenacious one, and the Tenacious one falls a little like lower on the hardness scale. It's the D65 because it's really flexible. So this one's more expensive, but it has a lot of flexibility. It's $65, but it has a lot of resistance, and it can really hold up to a lot of impact. And they have a lot of other brands that I haven't tried out yet. Like they have a Sculpt version, and they have a glow in the dark one, and a few other ones I haven't really checked out. So far I've kind of been sticking to my 50-50 ratio here because it's worked really, really well. And I recently started doing keycaps, which are really, really tiny in detail. And then I'm also printing like figurine type stuff. And then I also print stuff for my cosplay. And I kind of keep it in the same vat. And it's been working really good for me, so I don't really see a point in messing too much and changing it just because I'm doing a lot of other things. So from my personal experience, it's just kind of what I move to and what works for me. But of course, resin stuff is constantly changing, it's constantly evolving, and as new as it's been, it's constantly growing. So for a few other questions I got when cleaning, when my resin gets really, really cloudy, I just get these little filters and I sift through it and then I let this filter kind of cure in the sun. And for the water washable or anything else, like if my alcohol just gets like really, really, really bad, what I do is, for my mean green, I have this singular bucket, and I basically dump it all in there, and then I set it out, and I use that bucket for this specifically, and I only use the bucket for that. So if I want to wash my water washable pieces, I can wash them in the water in the bucket, and then I just leave it outside until it evaporates. But any of these have worked and have worked well. I've been able to get an easily clean print with all of them. So it's not to say, like, if you want something cheaper, you know, you can easily do something cheaper. Anycube's cheaper. It's great in my opinion. I think it works fine. The ABS, like, I think it works fine. I was just looking for something a little less brittle, mostly for my cosplays and stuff. And even though it is more expensive to do the blue with the 50-50 ratio, it does save money. But even though it's more expensive, I kind of like need that for my objects. So I don't know if I'm gonna have to like reprint some of my early props, because when I first started, I didn't realize the brittleness of it. It took me a while because I'm pretty careful with everything. But I was messing around with something and I dropped it, and that's when I realized, like, wow, this is shattered. So it was definitely something that I switched to and moved to. So I appreciate you guys sticking around for the video. This was just like a quick video just to talk about resin for a minute. I hope this helps somebody. If you have more questions or want other videos, just let me know in the comments below and I can do more videos. I'm still waiting on my Illegal Jupiters to come, but when they do, I do want to do an unboxing and a review of that, as well as some other equipment that I have ordered. So thank you guys, and I hope you all have a wonderful weekend.